A very good morning, Team Zimbabwe, and welcome to Africa and Beyond Television Network. And this morning, it's early, and we need to take a look on what is happening in the nation of Zimbabwe. So let us take a look on Rutendo Matinyarare's post. It's a very sensitive post, and we need to explore more on this post because as citizens, we are concerned about whatever which is happening within ZANU-PF and government. We have to be concerned, and we cannot ignore critical information or critical issues like this one. Rutendo Matinyarare raises a very important issue concerning Christopher Atikure Mutsvangwa. He says terrorists attack while defending biological welfare. He asks, this is the question. Then he went on to say, there has to be something wrong with Ambassador Mutsvangwa warning about a terrorist threat in Zimbabwe, but he is the same man protecting a company that is putting cancer-causing toxins, injurious organisms that threaten our food security and unlicensed GMOs in our food chain to feed the masses of Zimbabweans. The company he is protecting, which the VP called an enemy of Zimbabwe, sounds like a bigger threat to Zimbabwe. This is what Rutendo Matinyarare is saying. We are in the midst of asking the government questions to say, who is John Doe? Who are these people who wanted to bomb President at Victoria Falls International Airport? Who are these people who caused the president to run back to Harare? And then Rutendo comes and started to point fingers on Christopher Mutsvangwa. Rutendo is not just an ordinary citizen like you. Rutendo is somebody who managed to sieve his way through to the top echelons of the government of Zimbabwe. So if you take a look, he's now participating in various functions of the state. He was at the African Union Summit. He was there representing, and he has been part of some ongoing things in Zimbabwe and around South Africa, and he played a very critical role in making sure that Zimbabweans in South Africa are not deported. Remember, a certain faction in South Africa wanted to deport Zimbabweans so that they could vote ZANU-PF out, and Rutendo is one of the key people who played a very big role to stop those people from being deported back to Zimbabwe, and that saved ZANU-PF. And he was working with the faction Yana Cyril Ramaphosa, which was threatened to say, if ZANU-PF goes, you are going as well. And Cyril Ramaphosa wanted to save himself. So it was perceived that a democratic Zimbabwe would influence the poor outcomes of South Africa if the other comrades were removed. Just imagine if we had if ZANU-PF had to go. This is the only impediment in the region. These are the bullies in the region. So it would mean that all other forces, the other liberation parties who are weak, were going to fail to protect the ANC. Then after all this bomb scare, we have Rutendo Matinyarare asking Chris Mutsvangwa about why he warned about a terrorist threat in Zimbabwe. Does Rutendo insinuate that the people who wanted to bomb in Zimbabwe are the same people he is fighting? Because remember, he does have his own fight with INSCO in South Africa, and he's been banned to speak bad about INSCO or to speak defamatory statements about INSCO, but he's continuing anyways. So Anzi was also the first person to SMS me, threatening me with legal action from INSCO. I wonder what's in it for him. Is he a director from INSCO or a beneficiary? Save our lives, INSCO versus Rutendo. So I do not know why Chris Mutsvangwa is being put in all this mess. Is it because there is something hidden we do not know? Are we heading towards a war of some sort which is happening? And these are very important things which we cannot ignore in Zimbabwe. So I can tell you that this confirms that a lot is happening within the structures, the ranks and files of ZANU-PF. You are telling us today just because it's been kicked out by your president. Why were you not talking about it all along? Or yes. So I asked you a question which you avoided. Zim is one of the biggest exporter of tobacco. We all know tobacco causes cancer. I said to you, beer too. Like you like strong beer, which has a lot of health issues. Why choose Insco? Are you trying to prove a point, trying to be relevant? It's something very important because tobacco itself does have its own things, and nobody is talking about all those things, despite noise eseri kuitwa zvidorodoro futi zviri kubikwa muno muzimbabwe, especially um, those illicit beers dziri kubikwa dziya guys ndo dziri kudestroya more than magmos. So personally I feel kuti these people they believe kuti Insco is trying to fund some people around. That is the reason why it is being fought left, right and center, and they believe kuti Insco might be at the center of influence when it comes to funding opposition parties in and around the SADC region. So that is the reason, in my own view, I believe that is the reason why they are focusing so much on Insco. And I agree with Zanzi Kandava right here to say, why is it that these people are not talking about the illicit beer which is being brewed in Zimbabwe and being sold to the youth? Because you cannot tell me of cancer inini ndiri kudya sadza remhunga kumusha chiya chandisi kutomwa. And at the end of the day, the only thing which is destroying me is the illicit beer which is being brewed by ZANU-PF linked people. For example, that guy akazooneswa moto wekuchipinge is just one out of many. So the majority of the people who may be consuming GMOs, these are people who are very up high, who can afford. But for the majority who are poor, who are not affording to put 3 meals a day, or even 2 meals, they're struggling to put 2 meals a day. And you tell GMOs this, GMOs that. Why are you not focusing on what is really destroying the young people of Zimbabwe? Just imagine if we were going to deal with the issues of tobacco, if we're going to deal with the issues of illicit beer, Mutoriro, and everything else, which all these things, somewhere, somehow, some people connected to ZANU-PF are sponsoring Mutoriro kutinge chifamba. Drug trafficking is the most important thing to focus on than to focus on things like Insco. Insco can be dealt with through a policy, and you don't need to fight them publicly like what they're doing. They simply need to implement policies against GMOs and make sure that they implement such policies only. So these issues don't need to come on social media, but we have very important issues where drugs are moving in around Zimbabwe, and the drug peddlers are not sentenced as what is supposed to be happening. And you never hear about the big fishes behind all these things being brought to book. So it's neither our monkey or our carcass. It's not about GMO. Our people or our people. We know you are a succession politics. Okay. Yes, it's about succession. So I believe that these people have been deployed to destroy Christopher Mutsvangwa. That is the reason why some people are saying Christopher Mutsvangwa is backed by so many powerful people who have money. It's because they believe the faction of Christopher Mutsvangwa does have a lot of money, so they have to victimize the perceived people who might be sponsoring Christopher Mutsvangwa's factional politics. Because it's a matter of 2028. This is a matter of 2028. Who is going to emerge victorious? Is it Mutsvangwa? Is it the sons? Is it the general? All those issues are very important and at the center of everything. So do not mind all these things, Team Zimbabwe. And it makes us go back to the issues of John Doe. I said it during on that day to say, when you see these emails being released, it compromises any kind of investigation What it means is there is something behind that bomb scare which happened in Victoria Falls. There is something behind. You start to hear the narratives. You start to hear those things, decisions being made against some powerful people to say, okay, Tavadzinga or Tavaita. So you see some people going into exile. Very soon, it's more likely that you see people like Christopher Mutsvangwa permanently going into exile. I once questioned the reason why all these people were out of Zimbabwe at once, and it's something. This is the most interesting season we are getting into. So the major question is, why are they after Christopher Mutsvangwa? Was he involved in the Victoria Falls bomb scare? So, Team Zimbabwe, it's something else, and it's becoming more interesting. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for the contributions, and much love.